Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be with you this afternoon, and it's so wonderful to see all of you receive the awards, and it's a great honor to be part of that. So you might wonder, why I'm talking today about men as middle managers and their role in gender equality, and I will get to that topic in a bit, and I will explain to you why all of us in this room need to take that quite seriously. But let me first start off with a general introduction. As you can see, I'm at Cranfield University. Cranfield University is based in England in the United Kingdom, and if you know the geography a bit, we are in the middle between Oxford and Cambridge. And our business, is very different to other universities. We teach graduate students, so those people doing master's degrees, MBAs, as well as lots of executive education development programs, so both in the open as well as the custom-made programs. In addition to being a professor of leadership, I'm also directing the Global Center for Gender and Leadership at Cranfield University, and we have done research on gender and leadership for a good 20 years or so, and some of you might be familiar with some of the work that we have done. And traditionally, what we have focused on at Cranfield was very much programs, for women to help them to become better leaders, and that involves helping them understand how they can make a difference, helping them understand how they can, bring their own individual offering to fruition in an organization. However, one of the things that we have realized is that it is not enough to just educate women to be better leaders, even though that is important. We have to go beyond that. We have to go beyond fixing the women, and we actually need to start looking at organizational cultures and how we can shape organizational cultures that they are good spaces to be in for men as well as women. So this really brought me to look at the role of men in gender equality processes. And that is kind of what I would like to share with you today. The project was supported by a British Academy Mid-Career Fellowship. The British Academy is one of our traditional learned societies in the United Kingdom. There are a lot of esteemed individuals who form part of the fellows there, and they also have a funding stream which allowed me to focus exclusively on this piece of research that I'm going to present to you now. So when you look at gender and leadership, as I told you before, much of it focused traditionally on women and how women lead and helping women to succeed in the workplace that was shaped by men and for men. And the realization that this is not what we should be focusing on first led me to explore senior leaders and what senior leaders can do to support gender equality in the workplace. So I did a global survey of CEOs trying to understand what is it that those CEOs do to support gender equality. So I spoke with a range of CEOs from all over the world who had committed to gender equality. And for that, I used the Women's Empowerment Principles, which is a joint initiative of UN Women and the UN Global Compact. And they have the 7 Women Empowerment Principles, which allow organizations to show their commitment to gender equality. And they do that through having the CEO sign the Women's Empowerment Principles. So I used this group to help me understand how senior leaders see gender equality. And I was very impressed by how eloquent most of the leaders from right across the world were. I was very impressed to see that they really understood why gender equality is a business imperative and why it is important for them and their organizations. However, this piece of research also showed that there's a big gap, and the big gap is in relation to middle managers. The CEOs were at pains to bring the middle managers with them to ensure that they actually can implement gender equality in the organizations. And that is kind of what I decided to focus on next, looking at middle managers, and particularly looking at those who are good at gender equality. So I was looking at those, men who were singled out by their organizations as being not only supportive of gender equality, but actually in their daily practices supporting that.